In this video, we are going to discover some of the features that the Orbit Controls provides for a better presentation of the scene in its components. Having said that, let's start by importing it into our project. Next, we are going to create an instance and pass the camera and the DOM element as arguments to the constructor. Then we'll call update in the animate function, which is crucial in order for some of the functionalities to work. And with that done, now we have the most basic setup for the Orbit Controls to work. So we can rotate the view, pan, which means do horizontal and vertical translations of the camera, and zoom in and out. Having said that, let's start doing some optional configurations. The first thing we can do is increase the pan speed. We can do the same thing with the rotation speed. Another thing we can do is limit how much we can dolly in and out, aka zoom in and out. In addition to that, we can disable some options like panning, for example. To do that, we'll just set the enable pan property to false. And as you can see, even though I'm pressing the right mouse button, the camera doesn't move. There is also a nice feature that is disabled by default, which is damping. Damping simply adds some sort of a smooth movement ending to the camera actions like rotation or panning. To activate it, we just need to set the enable damping property to true. We do actually have control over the resistance amount of the effect via the damping factor property. Another disabled functionality we have is auto rotate, which name pretty much tells what it does. We can change the rotation speed by setting a value to the auto rotate speed property. And the final property we are going to discover in this first section is the target property, which sets a focus point to the controls. We can change the mouse button's roles, hence we can, for example, invert the right and left mouse buttons' actions. To do that, we can access the buttons through the mouse buttons property and then assign the actions from 3 mouse and the action name. Another thing we can do is assign actions to keys. To do that, we need to assign an object to the keys property. This object should have 4 properties, and for each one we need to set a code that represents the key to which we want to assign the pan direction. That said, in this example, we'll assign the 4 pan directions to the 4 arrow keys. And bear in mind that this line is crucial in order for the keys to work. Again, we're not only bound to arrow keys, so here we can use the D and S keys to move the camera right and down. Another thing we can do regarding keys is to change the speed of the camera movement when the keys are pushed using the key pan speed property. Another great feature that you may find useful is SaveState. This functionality makes it possible to save the angle of view, then return back to it when the view is changed. That said, let's make it so when we hit the S key, the view angle is saved, and that's by checking the code of the pushed key. If the code is key S, we'll call the SaveState method. That done, we return back to that same angle when the L key is pushed, and that's by calling the reset method. Now I'll push the S key, then change the view. And as you can see, the camera returned to that same spot because I pushed the L key. Finally, we can limit the amount of camera rotation both vertically and horizontally. To do that horizontally, we need to specify a minimum angle and a maximum angle. Both are under the property names min azimuth angle and max azimuth angle respectively. To limit the rotation vertically, we need to set a minimum and a maximum angle, which are under the property names min polar angle and max polar angle respectively. And this is it for this tutorial, so make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.